Hi, everybody. Welcome to Vibrant Expansion. Today, my guest is Dr. Heidi Nordlund, and she is joining me from Colorado. And we are going to talk about a lot of beautiful things, finding your gifts, how she helps do that, maybe a little bit of Ayurveda and other modalities that she has been blessed with in this life to share with others. So I'm going to play our little intro here, and we'll get started in just a second. Hi, Heidi.
Welcome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for, before we recorded today, we did a little intention setting and just a little mini tuning in for the intentions of this video to reach whoever it is meant to. And hopefully, yeah, it'll just be a fun experience. And thank you for coming on the show. So Vibrant Expansion, just a little background on it. The reason why I just had a calling to start doing this, and I got the name, I kind of channeled the name. It came together, but in separate parts at the same time. And basically it was, I wanted to connect and create a community for people who are expanding out in the world vibrantly. So doing positive things, creative things, things that are going to make a change in other people's lives. And that could be a huge realm of things. So I just went to this place where I really wanted to start focusing on the solutions and bringing that to the forefront of our awareness and consciousness, and just bringing this community together. And everybody that comes on can share that experience and have something to kind of put out there into the world. So I'm really happy you're here. This is like beautiful.
Yes.
And it's a Heidi party.
It is indeed. I love that.
So tell me some things. I saw you in Colorado. Oh gosh, it was probably what, 5 or 6 years ago.
Something like that.
And we hit it off amazingly, and we've stayed in touch since then. And I know your practice, at the time I saw you for some Tibetan cranial therapy and some other modalities, I think, that were kind of all intertwined. We did a lot of different energy work and some herbal aspects and different things like that. So I know your practice has changed, and like your focus has, like mine, has like shifted into a new realm. So why don't you tell us a little bit about like what you've been doing recently and a little bit of your background too?
Sure, I'll be happy to. So I'll start with that I am classically trained as an Ayurvedic doctor, and I went through an extensive program training through 3 different certified programs, 2 as an Ayurvedic practitioner, and then the 4-year Ayurvedic doctor degree. So that has given me tremendous knowledge and insight of the scriptures and working with people in terms of reading people with their individual needs. Because what your neighbor needs is going to be different from what you will need, because we have different constitutions. What makes us unique from an Ayurvedic standpoint is the 5 elements becoming the 3 doshas, and they are in different proportions in the body. And when we understand what these doshas do in the body, we understand, oh, summer is coming and there are certain foods that's heating. So let's balance our body and mind with more cooling foods. So Ayurvedic medicine really understands how to honor the unique needs of people, and to learn to assess what those needs are for each person, and then laying out a treatment protocol from that in terms of diet, lifestyle, treatments, cleansing procedures, herbs, supplements, exercise, spiritual practices, you name it, anything really. So I love Ayurveda, and the seed for Ayurveda was planted back all the way in 1998.
Wow.
In Nepal, and I went to an Ayurvedic doctor at a yoga teacher training course there, and the seeds were planted within me. and then later on sprouted to practice Ayurveda. And it's
Oh.
changed my life and so many people's lives. It's beautiful. And go ahead, you had a question.
No, I was just going to say that, yeah, it really is beautiful. And, I wish we had more time to be in the same state and in a close, proximity, because I think I had just begun my Ayurvedic journey here locally in Florida. And then we went to Colorado, and I was like, I need to find somebody out there. And I'm so glad we met, because like we've only met once, but I feel like we're definitely have like a sister energy. There's so many things that I think we share. And um, just doing my own research with different Ayurvedas. I have like some of Vasant Lod's books, and then I have some other just, basic little fundamental books, and Ayurveda for emotions, and, different, even looking into, like you were saying, like your yoga practice. If you're a kapha person that's maybe a little slower, maybe you have a little excess, going on, like something like yin yoga that's very passive, very slow, wouldn't be very balancing for that. And someone that, something maybe more like a hatha yoga, something that's a little, vinyasa, a little more movement, would be a little more balancing for them. And then I found for myself, when you and I had met, I was going through a lot of things with my body. I was really out of balance, and I was going through, I guess you could look at it as like an adrenal crash. And later, there were all these different things, like, was it Lyme disease? Was it Epstein-Barr? Was it this? Was it that? Was it toxicity? Was it emotional? And there was probably a mixture of all of those. But I found, for me, being like, I've been told that I'm very like Vata Pitta. So for me, yin yoga and restorative yoga was very balancing for me. That was a huge part of my healing journey. So I love that you mentioned that, because you can utilize that in everything, like your dieta, your yoga practice, your exercise, like even everyday things. Like, as somebody that's high Vata, I have to keep in mind when I'm traveling, because movement has a lot to do with Vata, that I make sure that I nourish myself and keep myself, balanced in that sense. Or even in the heat, when my pitta is a little more active, I'm like, okay, I have to make sure I do a little more cooling. And so, and I know it's so much more vast than that. That's just touching the tip of the iceberg, but it's an amazing practice. I know it's the sister to yoga. I'm one of those things, like, I don't know if they developed at the same time or if it's the chicken or the egg thing, but beautiful practices both. And I love your journey. At the time, I was definitely looking into whether I wanted to go into Chinese medicine or go to Maharishi School for Ayurveda in, I believe it's Iowa. And I never ended up going that route, but I'm just grateful for the journey that I have had and meeting people like yourself. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I love that you mentioned also around the differential diagnoses, because as an Ayurvedic doctor, we look at that in terms of assessing what is the root cause of the problem. And so in yoga and Ayurveda, we work within the five koshas. And these five koshas, they are the five seats of consciousness within our being: the physical body, the pranic body, the mental mind, and the emotions within the astral layer, and the genetics and spiritual aspects within the causal body. And so, what I have further developed within my practice is within the realm of spiritual healing and working with energy. And so that gives us tremendous insight when we start raising our vibration through healthy foods, proper exercise, balancing the body, doing breathing practices, start expanding and feeling these subtle bodies, then our vibration will raise faster. We process trauma and limiting beliefs. We'll start raising frequency even higher. And as that is happening, we can start tapping into greater energetic expansions within our healing, and also our connection with others, and the healing of others. So if you're listening right now, if somebody's listening, I'm talking to you listening right now, and you feel drawn towards a balanced, healthy diet that is wholesome and healing, if you're interested in healing yourself and healing others, if you're interested in raising vibration and your frequency and processing and working through traumas and limiting belief systems and healing at deeper levels within the subtle realm, not just the physical body, then you want to join us here, because I'm really excited and passionate about unleashing the inner healer within everybody, because everybody is a healer. It's just a matter of finding the right tools. And here is a tool which I'm so excited about teaching. It's a special, unique technique on how to scan the body for blockages that are usually lodged within the subtle bodies for many years before it shows up in the physical body. And so when we have the ability to tune into these blockages in the body, even before they become physical, guess what? We can prevent a lot of problems and pains and issues, and we can heal the body a lot more effectively and quicker. So you asked what I am doing now. And this is, I'm so passionate about it because I see it working. I see the people that I'm working with, they heal so much quicker because I have the ability to pinpoint specifically where is the blockage in the body and how is it going to heal the best? Is it caused by the physical body? Is it more because of the chronic etheric body? Or is it mental? Or is it emotional? Or is it genetic, spiritual, karmic? Wherever the cause is, usually it's a combination of all of them.
Right, yeah.
But wherever the cause is, there is a different treatment protocol. So imagine if you're suffering from a pain somewhere in your body, and you are going from one massage therapist to a golfer to a chiropractor to all kinds of different body workers, and half a year is passing and it hasn't changed. It's probably because they don't know where the blockage is, because often the blockage is in a different place than where the pain is actually showing up. And maybe it's not physical. Usually it's not physical. If things linger around and it doesn't heal up, and then there is an emotional or spiritual underlying cause of it, or breathing issue. So for anybody that is watching and you want to be more specific on helping yourself or helping other people in your practice, your clients and patients, this energy testing system that I'm using works phenomenally well to be very direct and specific on what exactly is the issue, what is the cause, and what is it it's going to take to heal it.
Truly getting to that root cause.
Yes.
And utilizing the 5 koshas with that. Yes. That's beautiful.
And knowing exactly how to heal it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that's beautiful because, you know, that a lot of the times we look at, you know, sometimes you see in the more like health conscious community, they're looking at, you know, okay, what am I eating and am I exercising enough and what's on the label and all that, which is great things. But at the same time, you're missing these other components. And sometimes those, you know, if you're getting the right minerals and all of that, you know, if you have some sort of actual chemical imbalance, say somebody has depression or anxiety, sometimes shifting your food can make such a big difference with that. Or, you know, making sure you get the right herbs or the right, you know, minerals or that type of thing, and balancing that physical side of it. But there are these deeper layers. And like you said, even going into karmic, where it's like, okay, maybe somebody is going to work on a mental or emotional thing. And that's the, you know, next step. And, but there's so many deeper ways of healing. And I mean, on my journey, I for sure saw that. I saw that I had to look at all of this, and certain things were karmic. I realized there were karmic patterns that I had to break, that I saw run in my family line. And so it's amazing, because that's the work that I can do from my space, that I'm aware of, at least. But I know there's a whole nother world of treating, looking at that and finding the root and treating that I haven't even really gotten into yet. So I'm excited, because I love this. I love that people are looking at that. I love that more and more of the general population is starting to have an awareness of that. So that's a beautiful thing. And I'm grateful for what you're doing, and getting that out there, and helping people. So
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's truly an exciting and very exceptional time that we're living in right now. There is truly an energetic shift that is happening, and there can be a lot of different languages on words to explain what exactly is going on. But what the important thing is that we can each feel in our personal spiritual practice, or just in our well-being, that we have an ability to tune in to what is the right thing for ourselves. There is a supportive flow that is happening underneath, and it's becoming more and more and more, as more and more people are becoming aware of their unique needs and raising the vibration along with it. So I wanted to add and mention also some work that I am doing very successfully in terms of healing trauma, and on, yeah, limiting beliefs. So because it can cause the trauma, and limiting beliefs can cause such stuckness in a person's life that if there has been, for example, a loss, we can there's a lot of things that can cause severe trauma, of losing a loved one, losing health, losing wealth, losing freedom. There's a lot of loss that is happening in the world, and it creates tremendous trauma. And how to move on from this trauma. Just this last year of 2020, a lot of people are left with this stuck feeling, like, how am I going to move on? And so in yoga, we work with what's called samskaras. And in Tibet, they're called sansaras in Buddhism. And it's a similar kind of thing. And it's these thought patterns that are repetitive and that get in the way of living our best lives, living our full potential. So there are ways to purify these thought forms. And it's a beautiful process that I call samskara clearings. And it can be done by a person themselves. So a person can come and I can supervise them through the process, and they will learn the process, and then they can go on and do it on their own. If they are self-disciplined, then it is easy to do. It's a beautiful process of 5 steps that moves through mantra practices to help raise vibration. There's opening up to the limited thought process, and seeing why those limited beliefs are there. Because sometimes the insights and the knowing what happened is helpful to process and dissolve it and let it go.
Just having that awareness of it. And
exactly, yeah, it makes such a difference. It's especially in people that have a lot of fire element, a lot of pitta. Really that logic side of things to make sense of it, and then it just clicks into place. Oh, that's why. And then they can so much easier process and release it and heal themselves and heal others as well. And so when we clear away this trauma and all these limiting beliefs, we can raise our vibration so much quicker. And it's really exciting then to work with the energy and see what certain foods, what certain supplements, how they test for us. Because with regular muscle testing, yeah, we can tell yes or no. Oh, this is good for me. Okay, great.
Right.
Do you want to take a supplement or an herb or a food that's just a yes, that resonates in a lower vibration and energy for your body? That is just
Right.
okay, you know?
Right.
Or do you want to take something that is gonna be woo, like really make a difference in your life? That's gonna heal you in such much quicker time, right? You want to go for the higher vibrational one.
Right. Yeah.
But how to know? Do you want to give your power away to other people, to let other people tell you what's good for you? Or do you want to understand how to read the energetics of everything? Because
Oh,
everything has consciousness.
this is giving me chills because these are those gifts like we were talking about on the phone before the interview, and that everybody has gifts. We forget, and some people go, oh man, I wish I had that gift, or I wish. Well, some of us have different gifts than others, or more in one area than another, and maybe it's just karmic, or maybe it's they've practiced that more, and but I believe we all have some of the same fundamental gifts or access to them should we want to go down that road. And that's beautiful because you're giving that power back. And it kind of reminds me, I saw that quote this morning. I'm not sure who said it, but it's a quote that I've seen multiple times that says, a healer isn't doing the healing. They're holding space and educating so that you can heal yourself. And that's like the epitome of exactly what you're talking about, allowing them to say, hey, you have this power. You can tune into that. I can help guide you there. I can help, show you different steps and different ways to do that. But ultimately, like, you are your own healer. And I think that's amazing.
That's
We
exactly
we
it.
need more people doing that, and not jumping into the ego role sometimes. And it's not necessarily meant to be a bad thing. Sometimes it's well intentioned, but sometimes you'll see doctors will get into this space of like, I'm the healer, I'm helping, I did that, even if they're not consciously aware they're doing that, and they have well intentions. Sometimes that they could fall into that pattern as healers ourselves. And so it takes that conscious awareness to say, hey, wait, like, I'm helping remind them of tools that they innately have. And so I think that's beautiful that you're doing that. I think that's just amazing.
Yeah, I really love the empowering aspect, and to witness people realize how intuitive they are, how powerful. I'm going to talk to you because you're watching. So, how powerful you are, how powerful your clairvoyant abilities are, that we have this whole layer of psychic skills that's just waiting to be awoken and ignited. And when that happens, there are no limits. It's so many beings, if not every one of us, every soul comes in with this special gift. And a lot of people carry these memories of healing practices that have gotten lost.
Mm-hmm. I just
So,
got chills on that one too.
whatever you feel drawn towards. Like for me, when I heard about Tibetan cranial and you had an experience with that work, I felt immediately drawn to, I had to learn this healing art. And it was extraordinary, and I love it. And I still practice hands on treatments of the Tibetan cranial. And a few years ago, I don't think, maybe you don't know this, Heidi, but a few years ago, all of a sudden it was, I started doing some practices that were very powerful. There's some scar clearings and other practices to raise my vibration and frequency. And that opened me up in such a way that it was revealed to me how Tibetan cranial was done long distance in the past. The Tibetans, of course, they knew how to remote heal. Why
Right.
wouldn't they? They could move big rocks and built temples up on the side of the cliffs and do all of these things. So, of course, they knew how to heal long distance because it's hard to travel in Tibet, right? So it was revealed to me that this was possible. In the beginning, I was freaking out because I didn't believe that it was possible at all, but it is, and it works wonders. It's absolutely extraordinary.
Now, is that something that you offer?
Yes. The word that came to me for it is Tibetan astral healing.
Ooh, okay, awesome.
And so we don't.
I must have missed that somehow, so I'll definitely follow up with you on that, because that session was amazing. And I remember I had a migraine, and in my experience, I was like, oh, when I have a migraine this bad, I have to go get chiropractic. Well, it turned out there were no chiropractors that were willing to take new patients. And I really wanted to do something. I wasn't even called to do that. I looked into it for a moment, and then I went, it's not what I'm being called to. And then I found you. I was like, well, maybe I just need to try something different. And what you did was so much, not to, for me, I definitely found, for someone with a smaller frame, as a female, that work completely aligned everything that needed to be without having to have the harsh, cracking. And I've been in both worlds. So I don't want to put any practice down in one way or anything like that, but I definitely felt something that it lasted longer. The healing lasted longer. And interestingly enough, going back to that idea really quickly of you, where you were saying, those patterns that are either like mental, like of the koshas, and before it turns into a physical manifestation, sometimes we have to release certain things or let go of these limiting beliefs. And ironically enough, when I started this channel, I was doing massage therapy, and for whatever reason, I was being told very clearly, but very gently, start preparing because you're not in alignment with this anymore, at least for now. You're not in alignment with this. This isn't where you're meant to be. And I was like, okay, I could sit here and I could have all these limiting beliefs and say, oh, well, how will I make money? And I have all these clients, and what would my family say? And what would my friends say? And all of these different things. And I decided to just let go and do a trust fall, and started this channel, and some other things kind of fell into my lap that all worked out. And this is so in alignment, like being able to have these conversations and then share them, and hopefully they touch other people and are, it gets spread in the right directions. And ironically, I have 99% of my neck pain and issues are gone, because I decided to trust and just go.
Yes.
Isn't that beautiful?
That's the key. It is to discover that answer is within you, and then to trust it.
Yeah.
And to follow it. Sometimes we need a little support to do those things.
Yeah.
But we all hold the most incredible answers to our own healing within. And that's what I love watching, for people to connect with that. That's what gives me the greatest fulfilling feeling inside, when I'm working with somebody who's ready to open up to that guidance within, and to follow it, and to make the moves and the actions that it's requiring to truly heal themselves. And then usually that develops into them realizing that you're your own healer. And then you start expanding and taking it into the world of healing others.
I love that. I love that so much. And it's interesting that you said the samskara, because I recently joined a book club with a group locally called the Rising Collective. And the book that we've been reading is The Untethered Soul. And that in the beginning, he uses some Sanskrit words throughout, and he does talk about the samskara idea, and having these beliefs that we build, and having this inner voice, and we hear this inner voice, and how much of that inner voice is actually us, and how much of it is a roommate that lives in our own mind. So it's so synchronistic that you mentioned that, because I was literally listening to the audiobook yesterday, and was resonating with, especially with the Sanskrit words that he was bringing forth.
Yeah, and along those lines, I also want to add that those thought forms, those repeating limiting belief systems, when they don't change so readily or easily or quickly, it's usually because they've been repeated for lifetimes.
Mm.
Rarely is there a chronic issue that just stemmed from this lifetime. People will say, oh, but it stems from this trauma that I had as a kid. Yes, but why did that trauma happen to you as a kid?
Repeating so that you would learn this, maybe learn the cycle again this time, or learn the lesson this time.
To give us the opportunity to really free ourselves. We come here to this planet to play it out, to be given an opportunity to truly free ourselves, learn from whatever we chose to come here to experience. What are our gifts? What is it that we want to experience? And through that, we can free ourselves and have a good time and just enjoy the beauty and the richness of this incredible
yes
that we're on.
Yes, it's that experience, and that alone, is the idea of that alone helps you to just do away with fear. It's like, we're all here. We're on, actually, in that book, he mentions this at the very end, in the last few chapters. He says, remember that you're on this floating ball in space, this ball of dirt and water that's floating through space. And like, when you think about it and you kind of expand back from that, why would you fear anything? Like, you're obviously here to experience, and one of the, I think the next chapter after that, he talks about, the idea of facing death, and how beautiful it is that we get to experience this life. And how interesting is it if you were told you only had like a week or two left to live, you would live that week out completely, just doing all your bucket lists and treating people exactly how you wanted to in a beautiful way, and having that patience. And he's like, but why aren't you doing that all the time? Why aren't we living all the time? Why are we in fear so much? And so yeah, just that ability to be free and let go, and it's a beautiful thing. And that could be such a deep concept too. It's like, did we have a soul contract coming into this life? Or, how does that all work, right? Like, that's a very existential way to start looking into all of that.
Very real.
Yeah.
Real, and it's happening all the time for people. When people, they are questioning, why is this happening to me? Or
right.
They make a mistake and they fix it, and then they do it again. It's like, oh my God, why do I keep doing this? There are certain things that we have scheduled ourselves to come here and experience.
So as far as with the practice that you're doing now, when you're looking at those karmic patterns, what are some ways, I guess a better way to phrase this would be, what is it that you're offering in particular to be able to help with those things? And what have you seen as far as, people coming out of that and shifting completely?
So I do a number of things. And when it comes to the trauma and the limiting beliefs, and really quickly, in a matter of hours, shifting it completely, the samskara clearings are exceptional.
Wow.
Every single time. And so supervising the samskara clearing can be done in person, but it's virtual as well. So it's accessible and available to everybody on this planet, because technology makes it possible for us to connect online or on the phone or social media and so forth. So that can be done easily. by simply tuning in and guiding the person through this process. It's a process. When I supervise it, it's about 2-3 hours, sometimes shorter, sometimes longer. When a person does it on their own, it's more a process of about 5 hours to make sure to go into the depth of it. So I do these samskara clearings a lot. I do them individually with one person at a time, but I really like doing it with groups. Because with group energy, we're building each other up. It's easier energetically to do it in a group. It's kind of like energy playing ping pong, and it starts building itself up. And we also feel the support of other people. And I see great success with that. Now, depending on where people are at. So if people like to just lie down and relax and experience healing happening in their body, I do the long distance remote healing, astral healing. I can do it just the person doesn't have to be on the phone or video or anything. They can just lie down and relax.
And just tune into them. And
it's mostly successful when there is contact.
Okay.
Check in with people so they don't fall asleep. Now the healing will work while they sleep as well, but it is a little more effective when there is consciousness awakened in that regard. So the Tibetan astral healing, the Heidi healing, the remote astral healing, all of that works wonderful when a person just want to lie down and relax. The blockages can clear from the subtle bodies, for example. Then I do a lot of coaching in the sense of there's Ayurvedic medicine coaching as healing the body more specifically, but also working with the mind and energetics. But Ayurveda really works with the body so beautifully in balancing it with the diet and self-care practices and purification techniques. Panchakarma is a very important way of cleansing the body. And Ayurveda got it down. There's been thousands of years to practice, and it works. It's so incredible. And so I do Ayurvedic consultations in person and also online and via the phone. And sometimes people have immediate transformations. It's just one little thing that they need is especially because when exercising the energy testing and knowing how to read the energetics and scan through the subtle bodies and the energetics, again, we can pinpoint that treatment and tell them exactly, this is the herb you want to be taking.
Right.
Because they may be reading online about their issue and imbalance, and there are these many articles. Oh, you should take this herb. No, you should take this supplement. No, you need to eat this food.
Right.
It's overwhelming, and it is usually a handful of herbs max in a certain order that is going to really make that person get back on track within weeks, not months, not years, which is what in the past has usually been seen. But we're ready now to truly understand how energy works and understand that we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and to live that and heal ourselves and heal others much quicker. So, but I do want to share one thing that I'm really excited about, and this is my program, Unleash Your Healer Within. I've touched upon it, how I am so passionate about igniting that energy awareness within the person. When people are feeling drawn to self-healing and healing others, if people are body workers, if people are simply interested in living their greatest self, then discovering their inner healer makes all the difference in the whole world, because all of a sudden it all comes together. So during this program, I work with people for 10 to 15 sessions, and so the actual program is 10 sessions, but then there are all these bonuses that
Okay.
on top. So I do the samskara clearings with people as special bonuses. So the actual training is teaching people to work with the energy, to learn how to read the energy in terms of testing it. And there are various different techniques within within the energy testing system. It's a very advanced muscle testing system, and that can be done virtually. Doesn't have to be in person, over the phone, or it's usually Zoom calls, because I like to be face to face with people. It is a little bit, sometimes it could be a little bit easier to, in the beginning, read the energetics when there is FaceTime. And then there are all these bonuses, some scar clearings, and a lot of different Ayurveda videos, Ayurvedic yoga videos for self-healing, Ayurveda pulse reading, reading the tongue, reading the eyes and the nails, the whole protocol of the Ayurvedic cleansing procedure of Panchakarma the program. It's a 12-hour long program on webinars that I did. And so it's all laid out, the 3 stages of the Panchakarma and how people can do it themselves. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. So I am so excited about that. And
now, when you say panchakarmas, are you referring to like a Shirodara and I'm trying to remember some of the other names?
Sure. So the way Panchakarma works, it's 3 phases.
Okay.
Cleanse, the actual cleanse, and post cleanse, which really is rejuvenation and building the body back up.
Okay.
Stronger and having a stronger immune system. And most cleanses are just only pre-cleansing. They never even get to the actual cleanse to eliminate the toxins. So people do all this pre-cleansing and they stir up the body and they get so ready for the cleanse, and then they don't do anything, and the body is kind of left a little worse off than not. So the pre-cleanse is where you have all these incredible oil treatments that are balancing to Vata dosha and is loosening the toxins. So when we're doing the actual cleanses, we don't just clean out the GI tract. We actually get the toxins that's located in the deeper tissues, like the liver or the kidneys or the heart or the lungs or the mind. So you have these incredible oil treatments. So what people can do to start pre-cleansing or just to balancing their vata and increase sleep and feel more focus and concentration, memory boosting, just feeling overall greater, is through the abhyanga. What is abhyanga? It is a self-massage. Smother yourself with the sesame oil, not so much sesame oil during the summer, but it's the best one for vata. But coconut oil is very appropriate in the summer, or sunflower oil or olive oil, to put oil from top to toe and then massage it. On that note, I also want to mention that I make a lot of Ayurvedic medicated oils that work better. So my website is HeidiHealing.com. HeidiHealing.com.
I love it.
Or my name, HeidiNordlund.com.
And we'll put that in the description. That'll be in there.
Thank you, Heidi. So that has all the information. And but it can be done, the oil treatment can be done with regular base oil.
Okay.
And massaging then. Put the oil on your whole body before you shower. Before the shower. and then massage really well, like long strokes on the long bones and circles on the joints
Oh, okay.
for 20 minutes. That's the time it takes for the oil to penetrate in through the skin and to lubricate the whole body and to loosen the toxins. And
Mm.
then shower. Why do you want to shower afterwards? Is because then the heat will allow the oil to go deeper in to lubricate and loosen the toxins.
I was just going to ask, should the shower be hot or cold or based on your dosha?
It's nice to have a hot shower and end it
Hot.
with cold.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good for circulation. And this oil massage has so many benefits. So try it. Don't take my word for it. Just do
It's
it.
been a while since I used to practice Abhyanga, and it's been a while. And then I got into dry brushing. And so I was doing dry brushing every day and forgot about the Abhyanga. And
And
recently I haven't been doing either one routinely. So now I'm wondering like, oh, I
so
need to
here's
get back into that.
here's the finger raising. You must. No, of course you have to honor your own guidance, but because life keeps happening and time is what it is, and we can tend to forget certain things. So let this be a reminder to check in with yourself and revisit it and experience how wonderful it really is of a practice. It
Mm.
can be combined with a really wonderful spiritual healing approach, which I want to share because it's so effective. So while you're massaging your body, what if you focus your mind on loving yourself more, respecting yourself greater, tuning into your unique needs, listening to that little thought that comes, that is our guidance, that we shove away because, oh no, that is just not appropriate for right now. Oh no, I've made this choice and decision, so I don't want to hear anything. But that little voice, if we don't pay attention to it, it won't go away. It will eventually just
Mm-hmm.
strike, and everything can happen in dramatic ways. So I really like life unfolding in its beautiful ways in a gentle, easy, graceful way to prevent and avoid all the trauma, all the
Mm.
drama that gets in the way. So, that oil massage and the self-love practice, it can be simple. You can simply massage and tell yourself, I am lovable.
Mm.
Wow, I am loved. Oh my gosh, I love myself so much more now. Oh, I'm dropping down my heart and I feel the love. I love me, 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 I love me.
Now, would this be daily?
And you're infusing this into your body with the oil. It's
I
lovely.
love that. And then, like you said, as you take a hot shower, it goes deeper. You can get to those deeper layers. Did
Exactly.
you do this daily, or how often would
You
you recommend?
can,
Okay.
with kiddos and pets and work schedules and friends
Right.
and parties and all
As
the
off,
things we do,
as
right?
often as possible.
But so okay, so if there is an imbalance that is more debilitating, so let's say a person can't sleep, or
Mm.
let's say there is memory loss, or let's say there's ringing of the ears, or let's say there is extreme dryness in the
Mm.
skin, or just really not feeling good, then doing it every day would be really good.
Okay. Yeah. So where I was at when I saw you and I was having all of these endocrine, like whether it was endocrine issues or just energetic, it was basically like my prana was like so low. My whole energy level was low. So I was doing a lot of breath work, and that's when I was doing more Abhyanga. But I wonder if I could have benefited from doing it more too, and just really, especially when your body is in a crisis, like what better thing to do than to give yourself more and more love? Like, hey, body, it's okay. All bodies, all of the bodies, it's okay. I love you. I'm here. Oh, okay. You know.
And you mentioned the words, the language of Sanskrit, and I wanted to add that in Sanskrit, oil is Snehan.
Snehan.
Snehan is one of the words for love.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh.
To just all come together. Yeah, it's so beautiful. So these oil treatments, there's the Abhyanga, which works wonders. It really helps to calm the nervous system so beautifully. But then we have a lot more. You mentioned the Shirodara, which is the oil pouring on the forehead. And now there are pots that are meant to be set up so you can do it on yourself.
Okay.
But otherwise, go see a professional therapist, Ayurvedic Panchakarma technician, and they will do it. And there are patterns that they will do across the forehead. I mean, obviously, this is something that is most effective in person. So, but
Right.
Ayurveda is expanding in this country. So going online and searching for Panchakarma technicians and therapists and Shirodara, they often have it at spas where they do more Ayurvedic treatments.
So,
But
go ahead.
there's another oil treatment that I wanted to mention that you can do yourself. Now, it is great to come to an Ayurvedic doctor like myself to get it done first, to learn how to do it so it's not done incorrectly. But it can be done with just a base oil. So here's the thing, Heidi, as we age, the body dries out, which is what causes wrinkles. It what causes the brain to dry out and get a little bit less focused and not so sharp memory and so forth. And that naturally happens with age. So as we are aging, it's more important to lubricate the body. And it's not necessarily eating a lot more oil. While we do need to eat healthy oils, it's very essential, like omega-3, 9, for example. Then the brain will function so much better. It's the essence of Ayurveda and Tibetan medicine is to lubricate, because there is that drying aspect of the wind, vata, that escalates as we age. So it's so important as we're aging to practice more of these herbal not herbal, oil treatments, but also herbal, because with the oils can be herbalized and medicated so they work better. But so the Nasya treatment is putting oil up in the nose. Most people are really scared of it because it sounds weird and we're not used to it. Oil up in the nose. Really? But yes, it's delicious. It's calming. It's soothing. It's amazing. It helps the sinuses, the ears, the eyes, the brain, all the senses get stimulated with this Nasya treatment.
I have had a Shirodara with a Ayurvedic physician here in St. Petersburg, Florida. And it was about a year after I saw you in Colorado. And I thought, well, I'm local. Okay, I'll do it here. And one day we'll cross paths in person again too. But yeah, I ended up being 14 days. And he used the copper pot and the medicated oil. And it was, I believe, I want to say it was either ghee or sesame or maybe a blend, and then different herbs. And it was a amazingly profound experience. And so I think I've heard from a few friends that have had a treatment with an Ayurvedic physician, and then those who have had it at a spa, and they've had both. And they said there were totally different experiences, where at a spa, it's usually like a 1 day, like a one treatment sort of thing. And then with an Ayurvedic physician, you're doing more of a medical type of full treatment, right? Where you're doing like the 14 days. And maybe some spas do that also. But one thing that I heard was that at certain spas, you want to make sure that your practitioner knows how to close the third eye after, because I've heard sometimes they leave the third eye open, and then people come out and they're like way too in tune with things, and maybe they're attaching to things that aren't theirs. And so I don't know how you would best recommend somebody finds someone that knows about that, or just making sure that you have that conversation with that practitioner before you do it. Like, hey, are you aware of closing the third eye? Or what would you recommend as far as something like that?
Learn the energy testing and you will know the answer yourself. That
Awesome.
is the answer. That is the ultimate answer. And
Yeah.
until then is to read up about the person and see if you resonate with what you read. Be drawn to know this person. Ask yourself some questions.
Right.
Is there any concerns that come up reading about this person? After you read about the person, call them and talk to them and see if there is a chemistry there. Is there a connection? Again, do you feel drawn to work with this person? If there is any kind of, I don't really, pay attention to it and honor it. Let's follow our guidance, because we do truly hold the answers and the wisdom for what we're meant to do and who we're meant to work with. And maybe reaching out and working with somebody is meant to be in the beginning, and then maybe they will be the open door to something else. You know, it's a journey.
It's a journey.
There are so many ways up to the top of the mountain, and we all hold our own unique path, and there's no one right way. So
I can, you're preaching to the choir with that, because I know when I first had my full-on crash, I mean, apparently I had mono, but I had Lyme and all these other things at the same time. We had mold in the apartment, and my system just shut down, and my blood pressure was really low. I was having trouble I couldn't drive for a while. I had trouble getting up and walking, and I believe that I saw you maybe 8 months into that. So I had plateaued a little bit better. I was definitely at a better place where I was able to get in an airplane and, go on this trip with my family. Maybe it was a year later. It was sometime later. It wasn't right in the beginning. Right in the beginning, I mean, there was no way I would have gotten on an airplane. I don't think my system would have handled it well. And at the time I was working for an acupuncturist. And so she had me on her different supplements and herbs, and she was doing different needles. And then I shifted to, I went to a chiropractor that muscle tested me for a certain type of salt. And then I went to Ayurveda, and then I went kind of back into Chinese medicine, and I went back into Ayurveda, and I ended up working for a chiropractor later. I went through this journey that got into biomagnetic paratherapy, and I was definitely had this path. And what I did was I kind of just trusted that intuition, where things would come into my, oh, have you ever heard of biomagnetic paratherapy? Oh, okay, well, let me look into that. Oh, okay. Oh, this thing with Ayurveda. Oh, I didn't go down that route with it yet. Oh, okay, let me try this. And so it definitely has, as part of this with this channel, was like thinking about all these different things that people do and different modalities and techniques, and each one has like a certain thing to it. But the thing that I love about Ayurveda, like you said, was it's the oldest out of all of the techniques, I guess, if you want to say, where there's, what is it, over 5,000 years worth of, yeah,
around for thousands of years.
Yeah, and probably more than that. That's just not written down, I believe, right? Yeah. It's amazing. So yeah, I definitely resonate with that. Just trusting that intuition. Like, do you get any little subtle energetic red flags? Okay, what is it? Make sure you trust that, because sometimes we're so eager to seek help that we'll seek it from someone that we're not in alignment with, and it can actually make us get more sick. And that actually did happen to me at one point, in the beginning. At one point, I was seeking help from someone that was not in alignment, and so, yeah.
There's one thing I want to point out in terms of guidance and intuition and following it, because we all have an ego, and the ego likes to get attention in not so great ways. It likes to manipulate and control things and put us in situations where we can feel sorry for ourselves. And that is not necessarily our highest and best life.
Mm.
So when we practice that self-love, we go straight to our higher self.
Mm.
We go to that place where our inner wisdom shines and where our intuition springs forth and where our psychic abilities lie. And
Mm.
it's through the self-love that we connect with it and we go above the ego. In yoga and Ayurveda, we work in the Sankhya philosophy, and it's the 24 tattvas, and there is a hierarchy of how our cognitive abilities they are located within our being. And the ego is not the highest.
Mm.
Our divine qualities, our divine consciousness, and creative powers, Shiva and Prakriti, they are at the top. All right. And it's the love that shines and connects us with that. And then we will be a lot more in tune.
Mm.
So this is why a lot of people, they will say they were guided to do this and this and this and this. But it may actually be the ego that is in charge
Mm.
and guiding.
Mm.
If we're not truly in touch with our compassionate heart and our love, the ego can really start ruling the game. And then we're not truly guided from our highest. So,
I that's a really important thing, because I know for sure there's been times where I've tried to use my discernment on, is this fear or is this intuition or is this ego or is this a higher guidance? And sometimes you can be blinded by it. It can feel so much like intuition, and then you're like, wait a second, that's, and there's that whole heart mind battle too, and there's all these different things. So I love that really, being in that, operating from that higher space truly is where you're going to have that true divine intuition and guidance, rather than from in here somewhere still.
yes.
So I love that. That's beautiful.
Mm. I want to come back to Panchakarma, circle around to it. So we were talking about all the oil treatments as part of the pre-cleanse, because the oil treatments start lubricating the toxins and loosen them. And we also do it with herbs in the pre-cleanse and cleaning up the diet as well. And then there's also eating and drinking oil more right before doing the actual cleanses to really start loosening the toxins from, let's say, the liver and the gallbladder and other deeper seated organs that really need to be purified. And then in Ayurveda, we have these 5 cleansing procedures, hence the name Pancha. Pancha means 5. And they are eliminating the doshic toxins. There are kapha toxins in the stomach, pitta toxins in the small intestines, vata toxins in the large intestines, kapha toxins in the head, and toxins in the blood, causing all kinds of skin issues and impurities and all kinds of things. So we have these 5 procedures that go in to throw out all of these toxins, and they're very, very effective.
Wow. That's beautiful.
When that is done, then that can be done anywhere between 3 to 30 days,
Okay.
depending upon the strength of the person and their schedule and what is doable and so forth. So there are all kinds of ways to lay out the protocol and the program for each person, and it's usually different for every person. Then when the cleanse is done, then the body is clean and we can rejuvenate and strengthen the immune system and feel absolutely extraordinary, getting the energy back, and it works.
That's amazing.
So
Yeah.
that's what you're talking about. When you go to a spa, you get pampered with the oil treatment, which is very, very nice. It will calm
Right.
you down and it will be pre-cleansing for the body. But when you go to an Ayurvedic practitioner or physician or doctor, then you will get the full on protocol of Panchakarma that will actually get rid of the toxins in the organs. I've worked with people that thought they needed gallbladder surgery to get it
Mm.
because it was full of toxins. No, we do Panchakarma and the toxins go away and they can keep their gallbladder. Or people that think they're going freaking crazy, or that are suffering from severe depression and heavy and sluggish, can't get out of a door, and all getting rid of the mental toxins. All of a sudden, there's clarity and energy and balance in the dosage, so people can achieve great things.
That's beautiful.
So,
I love that. I love that. And see, that's the thing. You know, going into my intention has always been to be solution based, I guess. Like, that's what you do when you're on these healing journeys and the self-healing journey. You learn so much and then you can share with others. And, but it really is. I love that because you're taking that to the next step. It's like, here's some solutions, but you can also do them for yourself. You can do them at home, especially, within the last year. And so with everything that's been kind of going on and, both just in the world, I guess, but also energetically shift wise, hey, you can be back in your power. Like, the world had to take a break for us to realize what was important and what wasn't, and maybe tuning into different things. And so I think that's beautiful that you're offering it in that way, and also trusting your guidance and your intuition to put it out there and trust others with that and trust them with their own abilities. I think that's a really beautiful thing that I don't know how many people are doing that right now, but it's definitely I think going to be something that I feel a lot more people step into in these next year or two, for sure.
and so, if you're watching this right now and you feel drawn to doing this Panchakarma cleanse to gain energy, to sleep better at night, to have greater focus and clarity and memory, to clean up your skin, to get this golden glow and shine back in your skin and strengthen your immune system. It's one of the best things that we can do to ourselves coming out of a pandemic like this.
Mm.
So, and if you like to do it on your own, then I have the offering of the webinars that lay out all the information for somebody to do it on their own. And it's all there on my website for somebody to just grab and get going with it.
Wonderful. And I love that you have the oils on there too. I know I'll definitely be purchasing some of those and getting back into my Abhyanga routine for sure, because I think that's especially, I think maybe like being out in the summer sun and going to the beach a lot, being in the salt water. Would you say that is all more kind of drying to the skin?
Salt water is drying. So
Okay.
just putting on the oil first. So coconut oil has natural sunscreen in it. Not necessarily to the degree of being out in the strong sun between 10 and 10 a.m.
Right.
and 2 p.m., but for the morning sun and for the later afternoon sun, just putting coconut oil on the body or shea butter is very wonderful. Yeah, and it gives a very golden, beautiful glow as well.
Mm.
But one of the things, and I will challenge you now in terms, let's say you learn some energy testing, and then I want you to start testing things because we have been taught a lot of lies. And one of them, there are a lot of lies, but just one simple little thing which makes a huge difference. We have been trained to believe that the sun is harmful.
Yep.
And that we really have to protect ourselves against the sun. Now, sure, I'm living right now in the Rocky Mountains and I'm in high altitude and I'm really close to the sun. And if I was out in the sun all day long, I would get burnt. And burned skin is not necessarily very good, right? But we need sun. We need sunlight. So before 9, 10 a.m. in the morning, sit out in the sun, and in the afternoon, or sunrise and sunset, enjoying the rays of the sun is really key. Not only for vitamin D, but also for the light and for the fire element. We need the fire element in order to healthy digest our foods. We need to be able to digest our foods to prevent toxins in the body. Undigested food particles is what's causing the toxins in the body. And we also need to digest our foods in order to absorb the nutrients. So sunlight is really important. On that note, we've also been trained, we must cover ourselves with all the sunscreen. A lot of sunscreens, they are not healthy for the skin. They cause tremendous skin problems. So you can test this for yourself and get your answers yourself. See what's true for you. When do you need to be in the sun?
Right.
Which sunscreen, if you're working outside and you have to be out in the sun for most of the day, sure, then you probably need something stronger than a regular base oil like coconut oil or shea butter. But you can use your energy testing to pick out suitable sunscreen that works for your body. And until you learn about the energy testing, you can use a pendulum. Again, establish yourself in self-love to go higher than the ego and connect with the higher self and let that guide what's best for you with the pendulum. Then the pendulum works. A lot of people don't believe in the pendulum because the ego will manipulate it and they confuse what the outcome should be. But not if you're watching your breath and you're establishing yourself in love and you're expanding into that consciousness. You will get a pure answer for what is best for you at this time. It may change later on because things change, but you will get a true answer right now, and it's beautiful.
Absolutely. I love that. And I'm glad you touched on sunscreen, especially, like even being in the mountains, and then we're here by, Clearwater Beach kind of area. And, there's a lot of toxins and carcinogens in the sunscreens that a lot of people use. And we hear stories of, major skin problems and issues. And it's, it's not necessarily from being out in the sun unless, like you said, unless you're getting burnt, like routinely burnt, because that can cause some damage. But it's definitely good to be mindful of what you're using. And I love using the muscle testing and the pendulum idea too. That's I think that's really great. And it's one more step into trusting yourself, really healing yourself. So I think that's great.
It's where it's at. It's the time we're coming into that we're realizing that we are all healers and we all have our unique gift to come here to share with one another. And we're here to lift each other up and empower each other and support each other in this journey. We're here to do great things.
Absolutely. I love it. I love that so much. Well, we're kind of getting to the point where it's about time to wrap up. If you have more to share in the future, I mean, I would love to have you on again any point. If you have events coming up or different things, we could always hop back on. And we get into these conversations. Everyone I've had on so far, I'm like, we need to do part 2.
Of course, yes, absolutely. Yeah, I would love to just share a couple of things. And one is that next year we are doing retreats in Portugal, in Algarve, in South Portugal. It's a yoga retreat along with the most amazing sightseeing, having such a great time in South Portugal. And it's in the middle of May. And I'm super excited about that. We're going to be doing yoga on the beach every day and meditating and connecting with great people and exploring the traditions of Algarve and enjoying great food and getting the sunshine, having a good time.
That sounds beautiful.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome trip. And that information is under events on my website.
Okay.
heidinordlund.com. And then there is another retreat that's coming in November next year, which is to Colombia.
Okay.
And it's also a yoga meditation retreat where we're also going to discover the healer within and raise vibration and learn some very effective, very powerful practices within yoga and spiritual healing. And then right now I want to extend a great offering for you that's watching and are following and subscribing to Heidi's work for vibrant expansions and beyond. And if you're watching right now, I want to extend a 30% discount to my Unleash Your Healer Within program. And it's the 10 sessions and a long list of bonuses. It's all laid out there on my website under deals, Unleash Your Healer Within. And you use the coupon code Healer 2021 and you'll get 30% off the program cost. And this program covers everything you need to truly establish yourself in raising your vibration very quickly so you can tune in and test the energetics and know what is high vibrational, what is low, and knowing what foods for yourself and your loved ones and your clients, how to heal the body, scan through the 5 koshas, know where the blockages are, and how to heal them most effectively within a very short amount of time. And
That's amazing.
get all these great videos of Ayurveda so you'll understand how Ayurveda works and how you can use it within your own cooking. There's also one of the bonuses is a cookbook, and you'll also get all the manuals written out with all the techniques and practices, mantras, pranayama, meditation techniques.
It's really all encompassing. That's
There's so much to be received. So
and mantras and pranayama are nothing to be overlooked by any means. I mean, Gayatri mantra was actually one of the things that I first, when I was ill, it was one of the things that I first plateaued with. Just playing it in the background, and I didn't have the energy to chant it yet, but I would play it constantly, and I just noticed, I would notice my body would start to sway, and I was really starting to move energy.
Let's do it.
Yes.
So let me share a little healing practice here. So take your arms up over your head here and imagine or visualize that there is energy flowing from above down through your arms, down through your spine, down deep through your whole body into the earth. And then the energy is moving back up from the center of the earth all the way up through the body into the sky and the universe. And the energy is moving back and forth. And maybe you'll experience the energy expanding outward and in both directions, however your experience is. So get in the flow of this light healing energy. And then receive the vibration of this most ancient mantra. Om Bhurvavaswaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo yo na prachodayat. Om Bhurvavaswaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo yo na prachodayat. Om Bhurvavaswaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Liyo yo nam prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Such a powerful mantra. Invoking the lights and all the chakras. Yes, beautiful. Thank you so much, Heidi, for calling that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I actually used to sing that to my girls as a lullaby. So they know it as well. And they'll sing it sometimes. It's beautiful. I thought it was also kind of synchronistic that at the beginning, right before we pressed record here, we set those intentions, and you had asked for Ganesha to come and, help remove obstacles. And actually, before we got on our call today, one of the things I was doing was I was actually painting this for a friend.
I love that.
And I'm actually going to go bring it to him now because he teaches my girls Aikido. He's one of my absolute best friends. And their dojo is actually moving, so he won't be at that dojo anymore. He's that's it's a little further out from where he is, so he's going on to like new beginnings and new things. And so I thought that Ganesha would be a perfect gift for that, and I personalized it because we're both artists and we like things very colorful. So yeah.
Wow, that is beautiful. What an incredible gift. Really, really special.
Yeah, I just thought, we went to this little ice cream shop yesterday in downtown St. Pete called Plant Love, where they do they have like vegan, gluten-free ice cream, and they had that there, and I was like, I'm gonna get that. And then this morning I thought, I know what I'm gonna do with this.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely. I everything today, it's so funny, from samskaras to Ganesha to Gayatri mantra. I mean, this has been a beautiful experience, and for you all watching, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you take part in the very gracious gift that Heidi has provided with that 30% off for the program. I know I'm definitely going to be looking into it. I just think that's such a beautiful offering that you're offering in general, and then to extend that also to our viewers. And we'll definitely have to follow up, and do a part 2 at some point. And I'd love to. I'm so curious about your travels in the future and how that all goes. And thank you so much for sharing your time and energy and space and love with us today, Heidi.
You're most welcome. Thank you for making this possible and available.
You are very welcome. I'm loving it. It's so much fun connecting with people, and I love talking with people and learning about people and what they're doing. And so I just thought this was a beautiful way to tie it all in together. So
yes.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and sign us off here, and I'll stop recording and just play our little end video. And I'm sure I will catch up with you soon. And thank you again so much for coming on.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye.